Hello. In this video, we will discuss local, global, and static local variables. As mentioned in section 2.5, the scope of a variable is the part of the program where the variable can be referenced. A variable defined inside a function is referred to as local variable. C++ also allows you to use global variables. They are declared outside all functions and are accessible to all functions in their scope. Local variables do not have default values, but global variables are default to 0 for numeric variables. So let's look at this example here. We have the functions T1 and T2 declared, and this is the main invoke T1 and T2. So now we have this global variable y with default 0. So this is T1, invoke T1, and the local variable is x, and x is now 1, and y is 0. So this x is incremented, y is incremented, but after this T1 is finished, x is gone, and y remains, y becomes 1. So now when you invoke T2, and this is x is 1, and y is 1 now. Now let's look at the scope of the variables in a for loop. So in a for loop, you have this I. So what is scope of I is all the way to the end of this for loop. Inside the for loop, you declare j, and j is the scope starting from this, the declaration, and all the way to the ending block. And this is the scope. And you can have this I declared in two places in the function. So they are independent, there's no conflict, they don't overlap. So the scope I is from here to here in this for loop, and I here, the second I is in the second for loop. So they are fine. Now let's look at static local variable. After a function completes its execution, all its local variables are destroyed. These variables are also known as automatic variables. Sometimes it's desirable to retain the values stored in local variables so that they can be used in the next call. C++ allows you to declare static local variables. Static local variables are permanently allocated in the memory for the lifetime of the program. So now let's look at this static variable using this keyword static. Static int x is 1. So we now have this T1 and invoke T1. So we invoke T1 for the first time. We're going to declare x with the value 1, and the y is 1 now, increment x, increment y, so x is going to be 2, and y is going to be 2. Next time you invoke T1 again, so x is already declared with the value 1 there, it's already, now it's actually 2 because x is incremented, x is 2. So you don't have to relocate it, it's a static local variable. So x is 2. And now we're going to, x is 2 now, and x is increment again, so x is becoming 3. So it's display x3. So what is y? Y is 1. So this y is a local variable and y becoming 2. So this is display x3, y is 2. That is all for local, global, and static local variables in this section. See you on the next video.